that, getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows. Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. This is round number 1 of this season, coming to you today from Oulton Park. Delighted to have your company here for the start of this brand new season here for Season 4 of 2025. This is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It's myself, Ron Maunz, and Charles Boshell with you in the commentary booth here today, with Guido Marzucchi working all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler. Well, Charles, to get this season up and rolling, we head to a track that has a brand new lick of paint on it. Oulton Park has been a fixture of Formula Ford schedules for the past couple of seasons here on iRacing, and certainly here with the Weekend Warriors. But now we've got this brand new, ultra refreshed looking track. The track's looking sharp. I think we have some sharp racing to look forward to here today.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I love coming to Oulton Park and really impressed with the track refresh. Artwork looks really good. I don't think it's going to change the racing very much. I think it'll still be some very exciting racing with the same challenges that we've seen prior to this. But one of my favorite tracks. I love Oulton Park just overall, but it's probably my second favorite British track behind Brands Hatch. Just an old school track layout, grass runoff areas pretty much everywhere. So if you get into a situation, you don't have a lot of support to keep you from banging the wall. But once again, it's going to be a fun race. The drivers that are here in the series are very familiar with this track because we race it frequently. So looking forward to a fantastic event.
And some names that we're certainly familiar with here, looking at Graham Rory Hunt in the 217 car, your current P2 qualifier of the Spec 2 drivers, Alexander Gorson, top of the board right there, but you look at the total top, it's Maurizio Nazelli, the usual standout star in the Spec Racer Fords. He occasionally comes down and does these FF races, but he's looking to impress here, currently holding on to the provisional pole with about 5.5 minutes left on the clock. Simon Ball slotted in P2, but I absolutely adore Oulton Park, part of another subcategory, as I like to call it, of British racetracks. I always say there's two kinds of British racetracks. The ones where they're built on old RAF bases, a little bit flat, really quick, and super historic as well. And then you've got this kind of track. You look at Cadwell Park, Brands Hatch, you look here at Oulton Park, just a lot of different tracks where it just feels like it's built in somebody's neighborhood. It's built in somebody's backyard. They had the keys to a house and decided to put a racetrack right behind.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Kind of like just, you were driving down the through the countryside, and the next thing you know, you came upon a racetrack, and hey, it's Oulton Park, so let's have some fun, see what's going on. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. It is kind of the old school variety that's not your flat F1 configuration track, which is part of its charm. I think I really enjoy watching the racing here and racing here myself.
Yeah, it is a super fun racetrack. This, certainly looking forward to it. The small little houses around this place as well. You can see it's just an old, quaint track. It's also a very challenging one as well. We're going to see the challenges get put on full display throughout this race. But Charles, what are some of the stuff that you're keeping your attention on as we head off into this opening round of the championship?
Yeah. My keys to the race today are pretty straightforward. It's like, as we talked about, new track art, same track challenges. You're still going to have struggle keeping up your momentum and managing to make the corners. It's a momentum track with a really fast flow. Not a lot of really hard braking zones here. Only really a couple that I to speak of. And then finally, you have to know where you can push the track limits. So you're going to get some off tracks, and there are some that you should be able to take and that will help you during the race, and some that will not. So you have to know which are which. Obviously, the exit of turn one is real easy to get it off track, and it actually, is probably the preferred line coming out of that first turn. But then some, you're cutting the apex a little too close, especially into this chicane, which we see the giant tire barriers there, which are made out of, hardened lava that you just really can't really deal with. That you need to avoid at all costs. And it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be one of those, we've been here before, we're doing it again, looking forward to it, and we got a really good field in store for this race.
Yeah, a super big amount of talent here. So I'm looking forward to this season, looking forward to this race. I think it is going to be a fun one. And off the back of the challenges about this track, I think we'll do an onboard lap with your P2 qualifier right now of Simon Ball as he heads his way up the hill onto the start-finish straightaway across the timing lights right there as he heads his way down into turn number one. This is super sketchy. You can see him sawing out the wheel, trying to keep that car pointed in the right direction. Got to worry about the track limits as you head out there now into turn number two, into three right now. This quick little section, super tough downhill left-hander. Again, got to worry about those track limits, but just keeping that car going in the right direction is maybe a bit more of a worry than that as we head our way down this back straightaway off into Island Bend. Now we've got a pretty good overtaking opportunity, but one that could also bite racers as well. It's turn number 5, Shell Oil's corner. You can see the banking helping out these racers as they head their way through the part of the track. Can help you out a lot, but also if you hop that banking, it's kind of like the carousel at the Nürburgring. If you hop the banking, you're just gonna fly off the track and probably go straight into the wall. Now we have got the longest flat out blast of this lap down the hilltop straightaway off into the Hislop chicane. You can see those obsidian tire clumps on the inside. If you hit those, your car's gonna be feeling rather sad. That right there was Knickerbrook of turn number 9, one of my favorite turns in the entirety of racing. Not because it's necessarily exciting, but because it's a very fun name to say on the air. This is Water Tower of turn number 11 into Druid's Corner of turn number 12. Quick little series of S's in the final sector of this lap. Got to keep these racers on their toes. Really, no sections of this track, with the exception of Lakeside and the Hilltop straightaway, are ones where these racers are actually not having to turn the wheel as they head their way through Lodge Corner, turn number 13, into Deer Leap of 14, keeping these racers on their toes. It is a quick pace lap around here at Oulton Park. Speeds are high, you got a whole lot of turns, and it feels like it's a relentless assault on both tires and drivers alike.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we talk about tracks and their cornering and the corner names and straightaway names and things like that. And you just mentioned Deer Leap, and I'm hoping that's it got its name the natural way, and it actually was a deer that came across the track there. So it just would be a strange sight to see. Hopefully the deer survived the experience. And the car as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a good. And see Felix Samoa's out here running in P12 here at the end of qualifying. Pretty down on the order for him. He normally pretty strong up in the top 5 most of the time, but P12 a little bit out of character. But we've got 18 cars within 1 second of pole, so it looks like a pretty tight field for today's race.
Super close field, super competitive, chock full of many amazing talents, and many drivers that we saw flex their muscles throughout last season, and many that we're expecting to see around about the same thing here in Season 4 of 2025. Maurizio Nazelli improves on his lap time, goes to 139.496. That'll give him a 0.3 of a second buffer between himself and Simon Ball, as that's Alan DeGassis making that call to come down pit lane in the 904 machine. That'll do it from his qualifying efforts. Do want to touch on that Masters category, which at the moment is being led by Jörg Mani. Jeff Wubker jumping up to P25 there at a 141.244. Nice lap time from the driver of the 909 machine right as we have the checkered flag out. Just seeing many erasers. Samoas comes across the line. He jumps up to third, a 139.901. Graham Rory Hunt, he's going to hold on to P12. Not an improvement from him, so looking good for Alexander Gorson to grab the first Spec 2 pole of the season. Jörg Mani and Antonio Reese sharing the front 2 spots in the Masters category right now, slotted in 8th and 9th, as we see Adam Bradshaw, Weekend Warriors veteran, come towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. As he's getting his lap done, it looks like it's not off on the pace. He had several most of his sectors were not his fastest, but he's sitting there at P26. He did kind of jump above Wubker there. So he had moved up a position or 2 here on his last run down. But yeah, Jörg Mani, Antonio Reese, pretty iconic duo up there in the Masters class, is sitting in P8 and P9. And a good run by Gorson to get the top 10 and to get the Spec 2 pole. So it looks like we're in the makings for some pretty good racing, even amongst the classes. We've got a lot of the class cars are kind of clumped together, so that'll be some good wheel-to-wheel action during the course of the race.
Yeah, a lot of great racing action to look forward to in the opening round of this Formula Ford Weekend Warrior season here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. And to get the season up and rolling, let's take a look at the starting grid. We'll touch on this starting grid rather quickly because we do have a short lap. It's got to be Maurizio Nazelli and Simon Ball making up your front row. Felix Samoa and Mikey Pollard on road number 2. Soren Gerrits will start this race in 5th alongside Yanshi Lin in 6th. Mario Ross in the Slowpoke machine, certainly not slow in that qualifying session. He'll start this race in 7th. Alongside your Masters pole sitter of Jörg Mani, it'll be Antonio Reese starting this race in 9th, with Alexander Gorson rounding out your top 10 and starting from the Spec 2 pole.
Jay Ray starts in 11th. Graham Hunt starting in P12. Ada Allen starts in 13th. Josh Wilkie in 14th. Michael McConnell starting in 15th. Jason Chin starts in 16th. Ian Anderson in 17th. Cesario Manzado starting in 18th. Kevin Adrian in 19th. And Chris Murakami rounds out your top 20.
And then looking outside of the top 20, we got Alan DeGassis and Paul Jackson completing row number 11. Richard Harwood and Daniel Verone right behind them in P23 and P24. P25 will be Dan Witzak alongside P26 of Adam Bradshaw. Jeff Wubker will start this race in P27 alongside Michael Nelson, the Dane, in the 959 machine. Andrew Love making his debut in the Masters category. Did pretty all right in the Formula V race yesterday here on SMB. He's going to start this race in 29th alongside Marcel Gorson starting in 30th. It'll be Stevie Ray and John Thompson 31st and 32nd. Bob Cohn and Tom Shuey in 33rd and 34th. Jeff Browning will start in 35th alongside Michael Bowen. Hans Molat will start this race in P37 alongside Patrick Hawkey. Paolo Breme will start this race in P39, and Jason Grider going to round at your packed field of 40 starters for this race that lies ahead. I say 40 starters. I don't think some of them have taken to the track for the start of this formation lap, but still an absolutely packed house here for the opening round of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. 35 cars rolling off. We do have 5 cars in the pits. Jeff Browning, Hans Mullet, Patrick Hawkey, Jason Grider, Paulo Brema are looks like they're either not in the session still, or they're going to start from the pits. So we'll see. Either way, 35 cars on this track is a pretty full grid. So we need to get a good lap in, let the cars get a little air in between them. Ooh, slow down there. Okay, there we go. Making sure that we don't overrun and run into each other on the pace lap. And looks like we're coming up. Pace car about to come off, and we'll go green.
It's season 4 of 2025 here from the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors, and it all begins right now with the green flag at the drivers now on their way, and a superb start there at the front for Maurizio Nazelli. He'll jump out into a comfortable trouble. Meanwhile, they're wrecking behind a big crash onto that start finish straightaway. At the front, it's tame. A little bit farther behind, it's pandemonium. Nazelli still leading side-by-side racing involving Soren Garrett, and looking at the battle right now involving Jason Shen. He's made his way up into the Spec 1 category from this season after his dominating performance in Spec 2 last season. He's now slotted as it stands at the present moment, so very early on in this race in P14. But Maurizio Nazelli got off to a flower. He holds on to a comfortable lead over Simon Ball, and Felix Simoes running after top 3 as they head their way down to turn number 5, and a round of bowling as they head their way off in there. That's Josh Wilkie and Jason Shen coming up blows. More drivers getting collected in that.
Yeah. Oh, just got to get through. Oh, we get in there. I think they're locked now. It's Wilkie. It looks like Adam Bradshaw, maybe Andrew Love as well. Looks like they managed to get untangled from themselves. But yeah, just the Shell Island or Shell Oil corner there. Can't go 4 wide through there. That's not going to ever work. So got a few cars, and did see that it looks like Jeff Browning and Daniel Verone. Daniel Verone taking the worst of that early instant. We did not quite get a replay of it. I'm sure we will if we can. And he's already down several seconds to the rest of the grid.
So a wild start in the opening race of this season here at Oulton Park. Up in the front, it's tame. Farther behind, it is chaos. Many a racer with a meatball flag. I'm looking through. Michael Nelson's picked up a meatball flag. Jeff Wubker's picked up a meatball flag. You can see Josh Wilkie and Aid Allen both with meatball flags. Daniel Verone currently holding on to a slowdown as it stands currently, but that's just masking a meatball flag that he has as well, as that was Simoes with a huge sideways snap coming out of turn number 1. He drops out of the podium, and you can tell that was a close quarters moment because that sounded like a tornado siren when he nearly hit the wall.
Yeah, good job by Felix to just hang on to that car, and great job by everybody to kind of avoid the sliding car in the middle of the track as we're on board there. And was that Mario Ross might have been looking at there, but as we're further back in the field, we see the cars coming around through Shell Oil for the second time. So far, so good. Only a few issues. We do see that meatball from Nelson as he is working his way through. I'm trying to see who the 47 car is. Sorry about that. All right, so we're going to get a replay here. Yeah, and we're just, 4 wide contact. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 4 wide down the front straight. Like maybe one of the cars was a little slow off the start, and kind of got swamped and just kind of ran out of room. It takes a little bit of patience at the start of this race to get your way through, and just people trying to make hay while the sun shined, and then got rained on.
Yeah, so sadly, the umbrellas not being out in time to protect them from the rain and protect them from the falling anvils. It's been a hectic start here in the season opener as we take a look at some drama that went on involving Marcel Gorson, his perspective in the chaos at the start of this race. A driver of the 201 car not getting off to a good start, unlike his brother, who's still running up towards the top of the Spec 2 category. Michael McConnell had his own fair share of drama in the early stages. He's dropped down to P14 in the live action. But as we take a look at the chaos, we'll note that Soren Gerrits and Felix Samos have had a coming together in live time. As we take a look at Josh Wilkie and his perspective of the chaos down into turn number 5, and you can see it was Jackson, yeah. I mean, we were talking about the 4 wide down the start-finish straightaway. 3 wide off into the Shell Oils corner. I'm pretty sure my musical career back when I was in middle school went better than that.
Yeah, and I think that was Jason Chin that was also involved in that. And just there, it was a late dive down to the inside, probably ill-advised by those drivers to make that lunge to the inside. But yeah, you could just see, you get in there and then got on the grass, and that's not going to help to get you stopped. And we see Wilkie in the pits now, getting his. We see Browning on the way out of the pits. And this is still under replay. If I'm seeing the wrong thing, let me know, because it was glitched a little bit earlier. I see that Todd Shuey going around. It looks like he's got some left rear damage on his car. Yeah,
I think there's another car involved in that.
Yeah, I would think so. He's going to pull over and give it a tow. See Felix Samoa's there. Inside run. Caught the
Soren Gerrits.
Yeah, Soren Gerrits. He caught that inside curb and kind of kicked his car over a little further on the exit of the corner than he expected, and got off into that AstroTurf section and just couldn't hang on to the back of it, and contact made with Gerrits.
Yeah, very unfortunate stuff for him. As we take a look with the, I gotta say, brilliant graphics that Guido worked together in the production truck. Fastest lap of the race held on to Mikey Pollard at the present moment, a 140.414. A pretty nice lap from Pollard. He slotted in P3 at the present moment. Pretty all right driver from last season here in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. I'll be able to get the stats for you in just a couple of moments' time, but although he didn't get a whole lot of wins, he still walked away with a pretty good result throughout last season. Was able to get, I think, those 1 or 2 wins, if my memory serves me correctly. So able to finish top 3 in the points as well. Keep an eye on Mikey Pollard to maybe put in a better performance this season. I say put in a better performance as if he was bad last season. It was great last season. Probably going to be even better this time around. As Jeff Browning had a moment. This was heading down into turn number 5, and he goes off the track. That's exactly what I said in what I said in the track guide a little bit earlier on. Very similar to the carousel at the Nordschleife. If you just hop that banking, you're going to hit that grass. Oh, big drama.
Yeah, big drama there. That's Richard Harwood and
DeGassis.
Yeah, DeGassis. Yeah, so we see 28 car struggling to hang on to the track there. I did see a meatball pop up, so yeah, he's going to have to come in and get a pit stop. But yeah, just you see more cars off in the grass as a little contact made has done some damage to these cars. It can't take a lot. They can get a little wheel to wheel, but once you kind of overlap and you start getting into the body, then or you get a significant speed difference between the two cars, it does a lot of suspension damage in a hurry on these, and it's just it's a meatball, not quite instantly, but very close.
Yeah, these cars, I always call them the spiders of the open wheel world, just because of the wheels sticking out as far as they do from the cockpit of the race car. So very odd looking race cars, very susceptible to damage with those wheels sticking out about a country mile from the actual base of the car. But very, very unfortunate to have that drama befall you in the early stages of this race. But jumping back to the live action and following this 3-car battle, actually, no, we'll jump back to this battle with Andrew Love and Bob Cohen. This is a battle of note for P23 between 2 Masters competitors. Andrew Love, a usual Spec 2 competitor, making the leap up to Masters here, and did pretty all right in the Formula Vs, and last season in the FFs, he was actually able to do pretty all right, and what we believe may be his final season, at least for now, in the Spec 2 category, was able to grab 1 win from that season in the Spec 2 class. That coming at Long Beach, a very challenging track where patience will certainly benefit you. And hey, I feel like there's another one of those racetracks where if you play that patient game, you can come out of here smelling like a bed of roses.
Yeah, I think Andrew, when I first started with the Weekend Warriors, was running as a Masters, but the series changed the rules, went from age 55 to age 60. So Andrew dropped back down in the Spec 2. So I'm going to assume he had a birthday. So happy birthday, Andrew. Happy 60th. Has graduated up to the Masters class, but he's been running with these guys forever. So he's a master in every sense of the word, as he's been running this series almost since the series started. So it's good to see him out there still competing. And we still got a really good battle. We got Gorson up in P6 and leading the Spec 2 class. Graham Hunt's only about, not very far behind at all in P8. And then separating those guys, we've got York Monty and Antonio Reese, the two Masters leaders battling. So a 4-car pack there, Spec 2 Master, Spec 2 Master. And both those are class leading position fights.
And if anybody is wondering what's happened to Jay Ray, I'm pretty sure he just got abducted by aliens. So he's now down in P23. He's back up to 12, and then he disappears yet again. So I'm not sure whether or not he has a hamster that's running on a wheel inside of his Wi-Fi modem or what, but he's blinking in and out. So if you keep seeing that car go down and up and down like Otis Elevator, your eyes are not deceiving you. Trust me, my eyes have been deceiving me ever since I was born nearly 21 years ago. My feet would probably work better as eyes as my eyes work as eyes. But we jump back to this battle for P2 and P3 and P4 with Pollard, Ball, and Ross. Touching on Mikey Pollard and the season that he had in Season 3 of 2025, only got one win, that coming in a very dramatic finish in the 10th round of the championship at Sonoma, but he was in contention more often than not, put in some really good performances, and walked away from that season P3 in the championship, only behind Felix Samoes, who went on to win the Formula V championship last season, and Daniel Tufts, who not only went back-to-back in the championships, he's not here today. So rather interesting note there. But with 10.5 minutes on the clock, we do have some pit stops to talk about already with Stevie Ray and Jason Shen coming down pit lane. However, I don't think it's all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for the people down pit lane, as Shuey has picked up a black flag a little bit farther down in the back of the pack. He slotted P31 and will probably stay there as a result of that penalty. Not sure what the deal is for him, but all I know is that Jason Chen and Stevie Ray being the first to make that call to come down pit lane. Stevie's come in, so that probably means the pit window is open.
Yep, don't say the pit window is open, and Jason following him in. So, we're at the 11-minute mark. Feels about right for this track. You can go a good 31 minutes or so on your fuel. So Stevie being the one to always come in, one of the first ones into pits every time. And Jason, like I said, Jason following. So, yeah, pits are open. I was looking at Shuey's time. It looks like 21:45. I'm wondering if that was just I wonder if that was just a drop there. I'm just kind of curious as to why he came in. I don't see him as a second stop, so I'm guessing that may be a drive-through penalty for Shuey.
Yeah, and already a pretty rough race for him down in the back of the pack, so that's not necessarily going to hurt him too much. It's really just rubbing salt into the wounds at the present moment. But Mikey Pollard continuing to impress just at the fifth lap of the race last time by. So that driver, the number 73 car, looking to have a good season here in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. A bit of a power vacuum, you could say, has opened at the very least in this race, as Daniel Tufts, for the first time in quite some time here, not out on track for a Formula Ford Weekend Warriors race. That's a little bit surprising for your reigning two-time champion. I'm sure he'll probably be back later on this season, but if he is not, look at Pollard to maybe impress as we jump back to this battle involving another racer who comes from the same kind of side of things as the likes of Tufts and Pollard. It was a battle with Graham Rory Hunt, one of the top running racers in the Formula 1600 D-Class officials, and he's running pretty all right in a battle with himself and Antonio Reese. In the meantime, though, we've got this battle between another official racer in the form of Ian Anderson alongside a Weekend Warriors veteran in the form of Michael McConnell. They had their way down into the Hislop chicane, with McConnell occupying that final top 10 spot at the very least for now.
Yeah, and I'm just going to give a shout myself to Pollard. I was going to correct you a little bit. He's had two really good seasons. He's looking for a great season. He's been contending for the championship the last two seasons with Samoas and Ian Joyner and Daniel Tufts, and he's not quite had enough to get to the top of the top step. But he's always been up there, and you can see he's really pushing hard now. Give a quick shout out to somebody we don't normally see in the Formula Fords, but obviously when I say his name, you'll know who he is because he is a standout in the SCCA cars, and that is Jiangxi Lin running in 5th place, having a great race so far.
As we take a look at a moment involving Marcel Gorson in the 201 car, this is down to turn number 3. Another point of contention that I mentioned in the track guide earlier on. That turn is just about every single thing that a Formula 1600 race car does not want to do. Downhill braking, check. Downhill turning, check. Off camber, check. Every single thing that an FF 1600 car would rather die than do frankly, is that turn. So that's probably part of the reason why we've seen some racers have drama into there. Not the first moment we've seen thus far, probably will not be the last either. But as we go back to this battle involving McConnell, Anderson, Adrian, and Ray, with Anderson and McConnell going side by side down the backstretch into the chicane. Battle last late breakers. Who's going to win out in all of this? McConnell has the inside, now got to switch to the outside, now going to be back on the inside. He clips the grass though, and that will allow Ian Anderson to jump his way up into that P9 spot now, as Kevin Adrian looking to pounce on it, that car of McConnell as well. Doing a raise that up in the front of the field, Maurizio Nazelli and Mikey Pollard covered by just about nothing, a half a second separates those two racers. It was Nazelli running in a league of his own with the Pollard, Ross, and Ball battle about a second behind. And we've kind of had a swapperoo of that as Pollard was able to break away. Ross and Ball dropped back, and he's caught up right to the back of Maurizio Nazelli, who even after setting his personal best lap of the race last time by, not able to shake off that challenge from Pollard. As you said a couple of moments ago, Charles, he's here to have a great season. He has his eyes on that championship.
Absolutely, yeah, and he's got a good shot at it today as we see Mario Ross. Looks like, okay, he just had a little blink there with some internet connectivity issues, but I'm just looking there. Both Ross and Ball's last lap was about a second and a half to 2 seconds off of the lead two cars. So I wonder if they had some contact or they just got side by side in a battle that cost them some time. But are we seeing Ross disconnected? It's kind of what it looks like. So yeah, it looks like he's still off there. We got to kind of check our other sites here and see what we can find out. But yeah, so Pollard having a great run. Ball and now Jiangxi Lin, Jorg Monty, your top 5. Looks like Jeff Browning has disconnected as well. So he has left the session after a pretty poor start to his race. He said, you know what, it's not worth to go back out there, as we're still seeing this battle here with Jason Chen and Ian Anderson. We've got 2 Iron Brew livery cars out there. That's pretty cool.
Oh, as they're so close to making contact as they head their way out of turn number 5. Anderson, the later of the two to make that call to come down pit lane, just came in a matter of 1 lap ago. Jason Chen already about 5 minutes into this stint of the race. As you can see, they're so close to making contact down the backstretch into the braking zone. Who's going to win out in this battle? Give it to Chen at the moment. He holds on to P20, holds on to that spot. Anderson will have to think about another opportunity to get that move done. If they start to battle too hard, though, you got to keep your eyes on the Masters racer, the 959 car of Michael Nelson, a little bit farther behind those racers, as well as that's Jorg Monty spinning off the track, coming out of turn number 3. Monty, the Masters man, gonna spin off the track in dramatic fashion, which just got a touch on himself. Alexander Gorson and his fellow Masters racer of Antonio Rees getting involved in their own little 3-car scrap. You can scrap that and make it 2.
Yeah, absolutely. As Monty, with a little, as you called it, turn 3, the exit of turn 3, just a little bit wide, caught some of the grass and looped the car. We're saying, oh, and there we got Pollard taking the lead over Naselli, so he's moved his way up to P1, and we'll see if he can stretch that gap a bit.
So So Pollard able to get that move done on Moritz and Nazelli to jump into the race lead, and let's take a look at how he got the job done. You can see him trailing Nazelli, getting that drift. It may not be the strongest in these cars, but it's just strong enough to get it done. He goes for it down the inside into the chicane. It's a good spot to get a move done because it is the heaviest braking zone around this lap by a fairly comfortable margin. But as you said, right towards the top end of the show, Charles, with those inside tire bundles made out of bedrock, if you hit those in a Formula Ford car, you're going to come to a stop rather quickly, and your race will be effectively over. So it's a good overtaking spot. Yeah, it's also a terrifying overtaking spot at the same time.
Yeah, they just that's the one thing the iRacing physics hasn't got right yet. Those tires would kind of take the punishment, absorb it, slowly, because you were talking about rubber tires, and then it would kind of move a bit. Not these. No, they're just like concrete pillars sitting there waiting for you to run into them, so they can basically destroy your car in about a half a second. So it's we're seeing Dan. It looks like Dan Whitsack is in the pits now, but Pollard's having a good run. He's was a half second faster that last lap than Pollard, or than Naselli, I should say. So he's really picked up the pace on that. Only really cars close to him is Antonio Race last lap was about 400ths off, and Yaxi Lin was about a tenth and a half. But otherwise, it's Pollard is the class of the field at this point.
Yeah, so Mikey Pollard putting in a very good drive as we get closer and closer to the halfway mark of this race. Looking at a battle between Kevin Adrian and Michael McConnell all through that chicane, and Kevin Adrian gets that move done to jump his way up into 7th. Currently P2 of the Spec 2 racers, currently being led by Alexander Gorson in that category. Do want to say, though, in reference to the tire bundles on iRacing, the best way I could describe it is, imagine you're an enthusiastic child running out of a store, very happy, and then you see a ball on the outside of the store. You can kick it, and you think, oh, it's an exercise ball. I can just kick that. It's like a big dodgeball. I can kick that into the parking lot, do whatever I want, and then you realize that's those giant red concrete balls that they have in front of a target, and you snap all of your toes in half. That's basically what it is heading off through the chicanes around here, and you got a lot of that in a decent chunk of tracks on iRacing. Brilliant job that iRacing does with the update and the UI. I'm definitely not just saying that because next week we're going to be broadcasted on the iRacing channel with the special 10th anniversary Spec Racer Ford event. And I'm also not saying that because the last time I made a joke about iRacing and something funny about it all, my sim decided to crash.
Yeah, and so Aid Allen, we were on board with him for a minute, and the next thing we know, it kind of blinked out. The next thing we know, he's in the wall. So not sure what happened to Aid, if that was just a complete failure of hardware and internet connection at the same time, or what's going on. That may indicate a power outage at Aid's location, where everything just went down all at once. So yeah, get your criticisms of iRacing out of the way now. That way we don't have to do it next week. And I was gonna use the thing is you're a kid and you see that big red ball out in the parking lot, you can go kick it and you don't realize the glass door is closed. And you run smack into it. So that was kind of what those tire bundles are like.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of some of the stories that I had at Target in my youth. That was always such a festive store. My mother used to call it Target to make it a little bit more fancy. Target. That's Simon Ball making a call to come down pit lane. He's got to be joined in the pits. I saw another racer make that call. It may have been the lap car of Michael L. Bowen, currently slotted in P27. But Simon Ball, one of the latest racers up towards the north end of the field to make that call to come down pit lane. And I gotta wonder, on the subject of pitch strategies here, Charles, will we see Mikey Pollard and Moritz and Nazelli split their strategies? I'm sure we probably are. Moritz and Nazelli, he's been around the block before in these Weekend Warriors races. He's been in situations like this before. I wonder how exactly he's going to go about this battle, because he's been running behind Pollard for a decent period of time. He wants to win this race through strategy, I think. Otherwise, he would have probably attacked Pollard by now.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously, I think I always think the second car has the advantage. They can decide if the car in front is holding them up, if staying out for an extra lap is going to be an advantage or a disadvantage. So we'll just kind of wait and see. I think based on what I'm seeing with the lap times, I think Pollard has the pace advantage at this point of the race. So it may be that Naselli just follows him in and hopes to get a shorter pit stop that can jump him with the pit cycle, as opposed to trying to run an extra lap, because I don't think he gets any benefit from being out there by himself, at the lead of the field, because we got a 7-second gap back to Yangshi Lin sitting in third. And then we got Antonio Race in fourth. It's 11 seconds back from the lead. So I don't think it benefits him to stay out for an extra lap and try and run a hot lap before he comes in. I just think it's going to be, it's probably just I would follow the leader in and just maybe take a gamble on fuel. If he stays behind in second place, he might can get away with that, as we see Antonio Reese coming into the pits. Oh, no longer Wolveronio, we're now Hulkonio Reese.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that during the Formula V broadcast, how I think I may have accidentally leaked it during the Week 13 Weekend Warriors V runoffs broadcast, because I ran Trading Paints and he had that brand new Hulk paint scheme on it. And I will say Wolveronio kind of rolls off the tongue. It took me a little bit to get it, but I eventually got the swing of things. I feel like it'll probably be the same case with we'll have to go to Antonio, as well. I'll hold off on that point as Maurizio Naselli gets that move done on Mikey Pollard. There we go. And Guido put an egg on my face there. Right as I said that Maurizio Naselli wouldn't attack because he wants to win this race through strategy, he attacked. So if anyone would like my job here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, why not write to us at, the address is...
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yet again, I'm proved wrong.
Yeah, it's
not the first, won't be the last time.
Exactly, and it's we don't talk to these drivers before the race, so we don't have any insights into what strategies they're planning on doing. It's we always just make educated guesses, and most of the time we're wrong, so it doesn't matter. It's we'll just continue with the race. But it's interesting to see Naselli back out front. It was a really good lap, 39.75 lap. So looks like Pollard, as we're hearing, that Morrison is now in the pit. So our Spec 2 leader is making his stop as we speak. That's going to let Paul Jackson take over the Spec 2 lead for the time being. We still have about 11 or so cars left still yet to pit.
We have Alan DeGassis making the call to come down pit lane as well. Do want to touch on Paul Jackson as we have him on screen at the present moment. He put in a pretty all right season too in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. Grabbed one win amongst the likes of Aid Allen, Paul Jackson, and Andrew Love. All got one win apiece. Jason Chen, meanwhile, scored the other 9. So that shows you how things worked out last season. As we'll jump back to this battle up at the front between Naselli and Pollard. Yet again, this is I felt good about that prediction too, and that just gets thrown straight into a blender. But Naselli and Pollard duking it out for the race lead. Naselli was a pretty nice move that he went off in there and got the race lead. Now I gotta wonder what these racers are going to try and do when it comes to the strategy with only 13 and a half minutes left on the clock. My apologies. Naselli and Pollard gonna have to worry about those pit stops sooner rather than later. Who's gonna break away first? I think it may be Naselli. Yes, it will be Naselli as he makes that call to come down pit lane. Pollard gonna stay out, and will Naselli be followed down into the pits by anybody else? Keeping my eyes on Yangshi Lin, Jörg Mani, and others up towards the front. I think Naselli, he may be the lone breakaway of the podium runners.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're still a little early, probably 2 laps or so before everybody has to come in because they're out of fuel. So we'll see. I think Pollard feels like he's probably got the pace advantage just because he was able to track Naselli down during the early part of the race. So we'll see if that was just Naselli taking it easy or if that was Pollard that was really, really quick. I think we're still yet to find out, but it's elevated Yangshi Lin up to P2, and it's good to see Chris Murakami up there in P4, second in Masters. So, Yangshi and Chris, we don't normally see them in the Formula 4s. Normally they're spec racer drivers, but it's good to see them come over and join in this series as well.
Of course, you'll be able to tune in to the opening round of the Spec Racer Forward Weekend Warriors a little bit later on this afternoon here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. If you're enjoying the racing action, how about you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. We jump back to some action right behind this. Alan DeGassis and Stevie Ray. Stevie, the earliest driver to make that call to come down into the pits, being followed by one of the latest. You got DeGassis and Ray right around each other. Do want to touch on the fact that Stevie made up some of the most amount of spots out of anybody in this field. There's only a few more drivers who have made up more spots or an equal amount of stops. Cesar Manzanto currently slotted in P6. He's made up 12 spots along with Stevie. Paul Jackson up 14. Chris Murakami, 16 spots gained ever since the drop of the green flag. Brilliant stuff from these racers, keeping it clean, keeping it smooth, and keeping it up at the front. Nazelli, after coming into the pits not too long ago, he's now slotted in P4, going to turn into P3 as Yorgmani has made the call to come down pit lane. Meanwhile, Todd Shuey has picked up a disqualification, so that will be his race done. The driver of the 230 car will participate no more in this opening round of the championship. But Yorgmani is joined in the pits by Chris Murakami, Cesar Manzanto, and Paul Jackson. So this small, slow trickling of drivers making that call to come down pit lane, slowly but surely transforming into a torrent.
Yeah. Only two drivers left to pit. That would be our top two drivers, Mikey Pollard, Yangshi Lin. You see the gap up there is 9 seconds as we're on board here with Alexander Gorson, who is still has picked up the lead again for Spec 2, running in 6th place. He's got a pretty significant gap down to Kevin Adrian running in 9th. As we're back on board with Mikey Pollard, this probably is going to be, I'm going to guess this is probably their end lap. I think we're right at the 30-minute mark. So this feels like they're probably going to be just about out of gas. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get another one as we get Pollard and Lynn both coming in this time. And here we come. Yep, here comes Pollard in now. See if Lynn follows him in. We'll see that in a few seconds. On board with Yangshi there. And indeed he does. That is the last of our pitters. So we'll see where Naselli, as he's roaring around the final couple of corners, we'll see where Pollard comes out of the pits and what the gap is going to be between the two cars.
Yeah, keeping eyes on this car of Maurizio Nazelli as he heads his way out of the second to last corner onto that start-finish straightaway. Mikey Pollard out and away from his pit stall, 14.82 seconds down in the pit stall compared to Nazelli's 15.48. That may help him out a little bit, but still got to be close. Nazelli going to come out in front, but Pollard is right there to pounce. Looking at the times that they spent down pit lane, 1/100th of a second is the gap according to our timing tower on the graphics. You'd be able to see no difference, both at a 35.6. Nazelli, 35.62. Pollard, 35.63. Super close stuff between those racers. Nazelli, even with more time spent down in the pit stall, he was just able to attack that pit entry and exit super cleanly. Again, these Formula Ford cars do not have a pit lane speed limiter, so that can affect how these battles shake out. Meanwhile, as we keep our eyes on this, Simon Ball and Yangshi Lin gonna duke it out for the final podium spot, but here we go. Pollard looking to get that move done on Maurizio Nazelli. He looks for it down the inside into the backstretch chicane and through into the race lead is going to go Mikey Pollard.
Yeah, absolutely. Is a great move by Pollard there, taking that run down the backstretch and making the dive to the inside before you get into the chicane. That is not a place you want to battle. We do have Monsanto. Looks like he's got a slowdown. He got the yellow flag beside his name, so he's got a slowdown. I'm not sure why he's up there.
Looks like time machine in the pits.
Maybe so. And we are seeing that he is now in the pit area, so he should, as these cars come around, he should drop down the running order there, and we will see him up at the top. No more. There we go. So Pollard leads Naselli. Starting another lap, about 7.5 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, Yeah, so despite the fact that he picked up that time machine, Cesar Manzado will not be able to hold on to the race lead. It gives it back to Mikey Pollard. Nazelli still in P2 as we jump back to the replay to see how we got the move done. He did a bit of a wiggle as he headed his way down into the apex, but still very nicely played by Mikey Pollard. I think Stevie may have had a moment of his own. Yes, he did. Coming out of turn number 3, similar shades to what we saw from Jörg Monty earlier on in this race, but he hits the wall. That's going to break off the rear suspension, and he will be done for here in this race. Unfortunate for Stevie. I think in that clang against the wall, he was able to blow his motor up in the process of that as well. Impact damage Stevie out of this race. Unfortunate moment for him coming out of turn number 3. Again, not the first time we've seen that in this race. May even not be the last, despite the fact we only have less than 6 minutes left to go.
Yeah,
7 minutes.
That exit at turn 3 is really tricky, and you can see that you got to be basically, if you're on that outside curbing and in the grass, you got to have the wheel straight, or it's just going to send you around. As we see Manzado in the pits, and it looks like he is going to be in there for a very long pit stop. So not sure what's going on with that, but he is in there now. As we're back on board. Oh, I was going to say we're on board with the lead, but we got the battle for P3 with Paul and Lynn.
Yeah, and just as I expected, these two duking it out for the final podium spot, as that was nearly a bit of contact as they headed their way through Lodge Corner, turn number 13, lucky turn 13, and now Lynn gonna try and take the run down the inside. Ball trying to crowd him down against the pit wall, but there's Lynn, a bit of wiggle down into the braking zone. He gets that move done, but it's still not over yet. Ball right back, he's gonna be on the inside through 2, now stuck on the outside through 3. Look at Yanchi Lin trying to hold it on that inside line, a very talented racer in the Ray Esports and Weekend Warriors world against another racer who's really impressed in his occasional spots here in the FF. Weekend Warriors are still duking it out side by side into turn number 4. Look at Simon Ball sweeping around the outside. He's now going to be on the inside into turn number 5. If he can get this move done, that would be slick, and call him what it is. That was beautiful stuff from Simon Ball.
It was a great move, and that was very brave to hang it on the outside through there. But well done by both drivers, and Lynn's not done with him just yet. He's going to try and work the outside.
And here we go into the Hislop chicane, and that's Simon Ball holding on to the race lead. Gripping stuff between those racers. Awesome stuff as well. They were battling hard. They were duking it out in some very tough turns to go side by side through. I was fully expecting one driver to get shown the door and go off into the grass through Island Bender, at least into the entry of 5 of Shell Oil's corner. They were able to hold on to it. So well played from the both of them. Well played indeed. Simon Ball holds on to that final podium spot. Do want to touch. Oh, it's Yan Shi. Look at that. I wasn't expecting that. Down into turn number 15 of Launch Corner. He's going to try and slip it down the inside. He gets that position, but now Ball going to take advantage of a good exit. They were side by side down the start-finish stretch across the line. They're going to go to complete another lap and start a new one, and Ball going to be the later of the breaker into turn number 1, and he's going to hold on to that race lead, but Yanchi Lin going to fight back again. He's going to have to back out of it, though, not wanting a case of deja vu to 1 lap ago when they were going side by side through this exact same section of the racetrack. Lin going to save it up for this backstretch. Here he comes, taking that run out of 3 into Island Bend of 4. They were in this exact same spot 1 lap ago, but Lin going to have the momentum. He gets that move done. Now Ball going to look on the outside through 5. They're side by side through the high banks. Who's going to have to back out of it? Ball's going to have to back out of it, but now he's got to fight back to the inside into 6. This is amazing stuff here in this battle for the final podium spots.
Man, they are having a ball out there racing side by side almost the entire lap so far, as you're still seeing Ball on the inside line, moves to the outside to open the entry up for the chicane, and basically Lin lets him have it. He said, I've got another place I'm going to try and make that move, so let's get nose to tail coming through Knickerbrook. We'll head up the hill and we'll see what happens, as we got another battle here between Adrian and McConnell going into the chicane. Adrian taking over P8. Jörg Monty sitting back there just behind in P10. Just to keep you apprised, the gap up front is still a quarter of a second between Pollard and Naselli. Pollard still leading as these guys are still doing battle.
Holy cow, that could have ended in disaster. Down into turn 13. That's Ball jumping up into P3. And all that drama, Mikey Pollard and Maritza Nazelli have just driven off into the sunset. Got about 2 laps left to go here at Oulton Park. And I really don't know who's going to be able to get the better of who in any of these battles up and down the field. Soren Garrett has made the call to come down pit lane. I think he's out of gas, so congratulations to Soren Garrett for picking up the Thompson Trophy here in this race. But Mikey Pollard, Nazelli still in their battle for the race lead. Simon Ball and Lynn still in their battle for third. I have a feeling that it's probably going to get clipped into a YouTube short because this battling has been absolutely insane. And hey, if you want to tune into the action all throughout the rest of the season here in the Formula Ford Weekend Warrior season, this is a pretty darn good reason to hit that subscribe button because holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great battle between these two guys for the last 2 or 3 laps. And we're seeing Lynn, is he going to take a look down to the inside? He decides not to make the move here. He's going to just ride behind Garrett's as they work their way through the Hislop chicane and then through Knickerbrook and then out and up the hill to get to the last couple of corners of the circuit. As we're back on the front here, Pollard still leading Naselli. 0.2 of a second is the gap. It should be white flag as we get to the line this time by.
Yeah, so the white flag going to be in the air as they head their way through turn number 13. A bit of a wiggle from Pollard and some lap traffic a little bit farther up the road as well. How is this race going to play out? How's it going to shake out in the opening round of this championship? The white flag in the air. One more lap of racing action here at Oulton Park. That lap car going to be a bit of a choke point there from Pollard, and that's going to allow Maritza Nazelli to close up that gap. I thought he would try and go side by side as they headed their way down the hill. He still holds on to P2. About 2 miles left to go in this race, and we run on board with the number 47 machine of Maritza Nazelli. Will he try and take the run? Will he try and go for it into 5, or is he going to hold off until that chicane right at the end of the back straightaway? I think that's what he may be doing, albeit it's a prediction for me. It probably is going to age like milk in the Nevada sun, but Pollard going to lead him out of turn number 5. He's going to be the one punching that hole in the air. Nazelli going to have that slipstream, have that draft, and he is going to be a man on a mission to grab the opening checkered flag of this season. He pulls to the outside. They're side by side down the backstretch into the Hislop chicane, down on the brakes and down the gears. They're going to go Nazelli with the lockup. That's going to take him out of it. Mikey Pollard going to hold on to the race lead. Nazelli tried to go for it around the outside, but Pollard went tit for tat with him into the braking zone. He locks it up, goes for a little bit of lawn mowing. He avoids a major corner cut, and Nazelli still going to drop down. That just about assures a win from Pollard unless he has a last moment mistake. Meanwhile, Yanchi Lin and Simon Ball looks like they've still been battling. Looks like Yanchi Lin going to hold on to that final podium spot at the end of this race, but Mikey Pollard, after grabbing only 1 win last season, that coming in rather dramatic fashion in a race at Sonoma, has been another dramatic finish here at Oulton Park for round number 1 of season 4 of 2025, but Mikey Pollard going to come across the line to grab the checkered flag, and that right there is somebody stopped on the inside line. I think that may be Bowen potentially. Whoever it is, another Thompson Trophy being awarded at the end of this race, but Pollard going to pick up the trophy for the checkered flag at the end of this race. Antonio Reese wins it in the Masters category, so your reigning Formula Ford champion going to start off his title defense in comfortable fashion, with Alexander Gorson grabbing the opening win of the Spec 2 season. Holy cow, what a race here at Oulton Park.
Yeah, it was a great race, some great battling up at the front. Also did see Paul Jackson towed on the final lap, so was having a good run, and I think that's taken him out of major contention. Dropped him down to P24. Did not see who that was on the inside there that had ran out of gas at the start-finish line. As we're watching the remainder of the cars coming across, that's Graham Hunt finishing 15th. Reese, Monty, Murakami, your top 3 in Masters. Gorison, Adrian, and Graham Hunt, your top 3 in Spec 2. So great runs by those guys, and all 6 of those drivers were in the top 15 of the race. So great driving by our Spec 2 and Masters drivers as well.
Man, I'm still trying to catch my breath. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if it's down to the fact that I had like a cup of ramen noodles right before this broadcast, or the fact that in all of that drama I was barely able to take a sip of water. My mouth is dry after all of that. Those racers had me yapping my ears off. But what a race that we just had here for the opening round of the championship. And hey, if you're in the mood for some more Oulton Park action, we've got that coming up a little bit later on this afternoon with the Spec Racer Fords tackling this exact same racetrack. Definitely a different kind of car, but still the same fantastic weekend Warriors racing action to get this season up, rolling and rocking from season 4 of 2025. But I think all the cars have come across the line right now. We'll be able to get those results loaded up for you in just a few moments time. And you know, that Mikey Pollard was able to hold on to that fast lap of the race along with grabbing the checkered flag. He grabs onto the fastest lap, so well done to him. Brilliant drive from Pollard, brilliant drive from a lot of the racers up and down the field to put in what has got to be one of the best. I mean, this track usually puts on some great racing, especially with these cars. But man, that was probably on the higher end of Oulton Park races that we've had. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. And like I said, it was it just basically it came down to mistakes on the last lap. So, you know, Pollard holding off Naselli, for Naselli making that little little mistake going into the chicane, and Lynn and Ball were really close. And I think Lynn or Ball may have dropped off in the last half of the lap to maybe made a mistake somewhere in the final couple of corners. And gave him the win, or gave Lynn the P3, the final step on the podium. So let's see where everybody finished there, Ron.
Yeah, let's take a look at the results at the end of this opening round of the championship. Mikey Pollard gets the job done, ringing in this new scan of Oulton Park with a checkered flag to kick this season off. He wins it over Maurizio Naselli in P2. Yanchi Lin will round out your podium in third. It's going to be Simon Ball finishing this race in fourth in front of your Masters winner of Antonio Reese. Alexander Gorson will get the job done in the Spec 2 category after winning one race in the Spec 2 class, and really impressing as we got to the end of season 3. He looks to hit the ground running here in season 4 and gets a job done in the opening race with a P6 result and a win in class. Michael McConnell is classed in P7. Kevin Adrian will finish this race in 8th. York Monty will be classed in 9th with Ian Anderson rounding out your top 10.
Yep, Jason Chin finishes in P11, his first race in Spec 1. Chris Murakami finishes 12th, final step on the Masters podium. Alan DeGassis just misses in P13, Dan Whitsack in 14th, Graham Hunt, final step on the Spec 2 podium in 15th, Andrew Love in 16th, Jay Ray P17th, Jeff Wupker in 18th, Bob Cohen finishing in 19th, John Toms rounding out your top 20. Further on down, we've got Paul Jackson finishing in 21st after that late send to the pits. Richard Harwood 22nd, Michael Nelson 23rd, Marcel Gorson finishing in 24th, Soren Garrett's finishing in 25th, Michael Bowen finishing in 26th, Cesare Manzotto finishes 27th, Stevie Ray 28th, Todd Chewy finishing in 29th, 8 Allen in 30th, and then our final runners, Mario Ross finishing in 31st, Jeff Browning 32nd, Felix Samoas 33rd, Daniel Verone 34th, Adam Bradshaw 35th, Josh Wilkie 36th, Hans Mollett finishing in 37th, Patrick Hockey finishing in 38th, Paulo Brema finishing in 39th, and Jason Grider finishing in 40th. The final 4 cars did not take the start. So that is your 40 car race results. I believe I saw Mikey Pollard had the fastest lap of the race on lap 8, and Bob Cohen with the hard charger today up 14 positions. So great job, Bob.
Yeah, well done to Bob Cohen, well done to Mikey Pollard, well done to all of our class winners. And I think we'll be able to have a chat with one of our class winners right at the end of the show. I can see Holkeronia. We'll have to get the actual proper terminology, but Antonio Reese going to join us here in the broadcast booth in just a couple of moments' time. We'll be able to have a chat with your reigning Formula 4 champion and your race winner here today at Oulton Park, Antonio Reese, joining us here in the broadcast booth. Antonio, welcome in. Congratulations on the Masters win. Got a brand new paint scheme. Not Jorg, that was Guido saying boring. You're in the production truck. But Antonio, how boring was that race out there at the front?
Actually, it was not boring at all. I have to keep my concentration all the time because car did you see how your money spun just a little bit touch the grass? So I was really worried about, anything can happen. So it's not boring at all.
Yeah, no, I was just Guido saying immediately as we dragged you in, boring. I figured I would interject that in the first question. Yeah, he's always getting the checkered flag.
It's always me on the chat with you guys. I love you.
Yeah, I feel like if I take a couple of weeks off here in the Weekend Warriors, you'll probably be on the broadcast booth more than I would, Antonio. It's been a pretty good run of form for you as of late. Of course, got the Masters Championship last season. You get the opening race win here today. What are your thoughts as we get into Season 4 of 2025 here in the Weekend Warriors?
Oh, it's always as usual. I just try to be there with the guys, to be friendly, as clean as I can, and just enjoying the group and then having fun. Whatever position I finish, I don't really take it as the first goal. My primary goal is just to be with the guys and have fun, and then if something comes, then I will get it. Yeah, today was a good day, so yeah, I will take it.
And we have to ask this. I'm gonna try and pronounce it as it's written out on our graphics. Holmnicaronio, is that the other new team name for this season, Antonio?
It's a Ulconio is Antonio and Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit like misspelled on our graphics. Yeah, it's on our screen we can see it's Hulnikornio. So I think
Ulcoronio, maybe Ulcoronio. On the team, X team, yeah, unicorn. It can be a one unicornio guy. Yeah.
I gotta say though, a very nice looking paint scheme, and I like the brand new little photo that you have on our wonderful SDK graphics as well. So a pretty good tradition that you've had as of recent here in the Weekend Warriors. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, me too. But I'm not the only one, so I just get trying to do as many other guys do the same, like these like Spider-Man and so yeah.
And looking forward to seeing that car back out there on the racetrack for the next round of the championship in just 1 week's time. Have some pretty good tracks to look forward to throughout this season. And next week, we're going to be running at Sebring. So what are your thoughts heading there?
Very, very bumpy, but I love airports. I love airplanes. So I hope I will land safe. So I hope I will land with a safe landing there. Yeah, I just cross fingers because that track with this car is so much bumpy. Then I don't know. I always use these default setups from the iRacing, so I don't know if it is well done for the bumpy stuff or not. But let's see in 7 days what's going to happen. I hope it's not going to be rain, at least.
Oh, that's giving me flashbacks to the Lake Sebring race from about a year and a half ago. My first ever Weekend Warriors race. Once I got started doing these broadcasts full time, I remember that race vividly, and I think our old buddy, Mr. Joshua Wilkie, our main guy here at SMB, I think he remembers that because I think he fried his graphics card in that race. So keeping our fingers crossed that the rain stays away at Sebring, but hoping to see you out there again, Antonio. We'll let you give the thanks and shout-outs before we let you go and celebrate this win.
Yeah, guys, thank you to you, Charles, Ron, and Guido, and the slow motion broadcast. And for Steve Ray, the father of the Weekend Warriors League, and all the guys that help Steve to administrate and keep the thing running smoothly, and for all the community, the drivers on the track, and for the viewers, on the YouTube viewers, they are watching us, and also for my wife to allow me to be here. Special thanks for her.
You always got to thank the wife. You always have to do it. But Antonio, thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Well done on the win, and looking forward to seeing you out there at Sebring next time out.
I hope to see you. Yeah, let's go.
And that right there was Antonio Reese and his number one fan, Guido, probably hoping that he gets struck by falling anvil next week at Sebring. But Charles, that's going to be a rather interesting race. I was looking through to see what version of Sebring we are running at. It's on the International layout. I thought it was on the Club layout, which I think is what the Formula Vs will be running at next week. But Sebring on that full bumpy International layout, that's going to be a very fun race.
Oh yeah. It's and I'm kind of in the agreement with Antonio. I hope we don't get any rain because it's Sebring and rain don't go well together. It puddles up quite quickly and makes the racing a little difficult. Obviously, most of our drivers can deal with it okay, but some of them struggle. It just makes everything a little bit sloppier, in my opinion, because these cars not necessarily designed for rain running. So. We'll see what happens, but we will figure it all out next week for sure.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to that race. Whether it's dry, the drivers are going to have to worry about the bumps, or if it's wet, that may be a little bit tough because I think these cars deal with rain just about as well as the Wicked Witch would. But we've got some great racing actions to look forward to here on Slow Motion Broadcasting every single week. It feels like every single day at this point as well. Looking at the calendar that we have coming up here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, have the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors in the opening round of their championship at Oulton Park coming up in about an hour's time is when we'll begin that broadcast up and rolling from the opening race of that season. And then you'll look ahead later on tonight. We'll have round number 3 action from XSLR. They're going to be running at Bristol. Unfortunately, I will not be on that broadcast. I have some commentary work to do somewhere else. So Josh Wilkie will be on the cams for that race. American Muscle Series going to be running on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed 45 minutes later by the second round of the Sim Racers Group F4 Series running at Maunz this upcoming Wednesday. We've got some pretty good racing to look forward to. The usual SRG F3 action that you'll be calling, Charles. That'll be at the brand new released Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez down there in Mexico City. That'll be at 9:45 on Wednesday, September the 24th. And earlier on that evening, we'll be able to bring you the opening race of the Extreme Motorsports Ferrari Road Oval Challenge. That'll be at Sebring. I got the opportunity to race that Ferrari Challenge car a little bit earlier on today, and I'll tell you what, it may be down to the fact that I'm not a really good sports car racer. That car was super fun, but it certainly was a little bit evil as well. And then this upcoming weekend, we've got some good action to look forward to as well. The Formula V is going to be running at Sebring. The same could be said about the Formula Fords. And then on Sunday, you'll be able to catch a special edition of the Weekend Warriors, the 10th anniversary Spec Racer Ford special event. That'll be broadcasted, of course, here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, the home of the Weekend Warriors, and over on the iRacing Esports network as well. That'll be some great racing action to look forward to in the week that lies ahead here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. Gives you a very good reason to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. But as for this broadcast here today, for race number 1 of the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors here at Oulton Park, that will just about do it. So for myself, Ron Maunz, Charles Boshell joining me in the commentary booth, and Guido Marzucchi doing a wonderful job working all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler, I say thank you also very much for tuning into this broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting today, and we hope to see you all for that Spec Racer Ford race coming up later on this afternoon.